Hey everybody, so this chapter came out mad freaking early. It's a Monday! Then again, we didn't have a chapter last week, and usually when we don't get a chapter, something happens, and for whatever reason, we get the chapter early. But this is just incredibly early. So we have the cover page, and it starts out with the Wizards of Witheria. Personally, I think that Oda should just stop dicking around with this and actually give us a cover story that's going to be, really important for the overall plot. Like, maybe follow one of the teams, maybe follow Nekomamushi or the Wano team or something. Maybe follow Enel. Give us something. But that's not what he's deciding to do. So, and by the way, there's no chapter next week. So, and overall, I thought this chapter was pretty simplistic. Like the stuff that it sets it up well, but it's still, pretty simple stuff. So we start off with Sanji, and Vito's talking about this comic strip about how the Marines usually publish this comic strip about, like, this superhero who can walk on water and stuff. And this hero is constantly fighting Germa 66. The hero's name is Sora and has like a seagull on his hat, kind of like Sengoku. And so it's just a way of indoctrinating kids into making them believe that the Marines are like, the good guys and everybody else is the bad guys. And Germa 66 are the bad guys in this case. And you would think that, that wouldn't be the reality, that it would be the opposite. The Marines are kind of the douchebags. But according to Sanji, the perspective that we get from Sanji is the fact that, yeah, these Germa 66 guys are a bunch of assholes, according to Sanji. So it's going to be interesting to learn why exactly he left, and not just why he left, but why he has so much resentment against them. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that given that this comic strip exists, and it's like the Marines versus the Germa 66, that pretty much implies, if not confirms, the fact that Germa 66 is not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with the Marines, which raises the question, if that's the case, why would the Marines put out a bounty poster that says wanted alive only for Sanji? Could it possibly be that Germa 66 is such a dangerous organization that the Marines, instead of wanting Sanji dead, they definitely want him alive in order to extract information, maybe to torture him and get more information about how to take down Germa 66, because there's so much of a threat for the Marines that they really need information on them and how to take them down. It's just kind of interesting to think about, like, what is going to be the point of Sanji's bounty in the long run, moving forward. The Alice in Wonderland theme is actually present throughout the entirety of Big Mom's ship. You have like these little soldiers holding some spears. They kind of look like, yeah, those cards from Alice in Wonderland there. But they also kind of look like chess pieces if you actually take a closer look. And then one of the doors, the door to like Sanji's cabin is actually alive. So obviously it also reminded me of that scene in Alice in Wonderland with the doorknob there that can talk. We find out that Caesar Clown has been locked up. He's being treated as a prisoner, whereas Sanji is being treated as royalty, because of his affiliation and his importance in terms of like making the alliance official between the Germa 66 people and Big Mom. There's something pretty interesting that he tells Vito, though. He says, "Don't make me repeat myself. I ain't marrying nobody or anyone. Get the hell out of here." It's kind of like an unexpected development, because given how he reacted to seeing Pudding's picture in the previous chapter, a lot of us assumed that, he would pretty much have no problem marrying her, just like Zoro said, right? But no, right here, he's kind of putting his foot down. So it's kind of like, all right, well, if that's the case, because Luffy pretty much said, if he marries, it doesn't really matter. Like, we can just incorporate her into the crew. But now we find out that he doesn't want to marry. So unless they actually fall in love, like, naturally, then that would happen. But, as of right now, like, Sanji just has different priorities, I guess. So I guess he's mainly just a perv and a flirt. And this has happened before. Like, I remember in Fishman Island, like, he was making such a big deal about the fact that, I finally found the alt blue and all that stuff with the mermaids. He left Fishman Island, whatever. Also with Viola, like, he made such a big deal about that one as well. He left Dressrosa. So it's kind of like, okay, you can kind of understand a little bit more about Sanji's character in terms of, like, his core as opposed to his outside characteristics or the things that are more explicit in the manga for comedic purposes. And we have this guy called Gotti who's intimidating or threatening Sanji, and Sanji doesn't give a crap. He's actually he belongs to Capone's pirates, or to Capone's crew. And this kind of answers the question as to how Capone ended up getting affiliated with Big Mom. Because by the end, there's this lady that comes in. She looks pretty much like Lola's twin. So, and this also confirms the fact that I think Lola's Big Mom's daughter, too. So, this person that looks exactly like Lola, she's obviously one of Big Mom's daughters, right? She married this guy from Capone's crew. And so now Capone's crew ended up working under Big Mom. Just like Peckham said that if Sanji were to marry into Big Mom's family, Luffy would have to work under Big Mom as well. So it's the same type of structure and system of power that's going on here. So yeah, Lola confirmed to be Big Mom's daughter. We know that Nami has the Vivre card. We know that this chick is not Lola because Sanji scratches his chin and says they really do look similar, obviously referring to this person and Lola. So I'm guessing this other chick told him her name, all right? And that's why Sanji knows that it's not Lola. So, but we will see Lola. Lola it's a fact. She's going to be one of the people in line because she's one of the daughters. And this kind of makes sense in terms of Lola's obsession with marriage. Oh, will you marry me, or I gotta get married? Back in Thriller Bark, makes perfect sense. So I guess the question is, how did one of Big Mom's daughters end up being captured by Moria and end up in Thriller Bark? Then we go back to the Sunny, and everybody's dehydrating. The sea is boiling, which I guess that means that the snow that we saw in the previous chapter, that was not the cotton candy snow, all right? That was actually just snow. And Luffy catches this fish, and if you've been reading One Piece for a while now, you'll probably know that this fish is nothing but a plot device to incapacitate Luffy, all right? And if you pay attention to the story, it becomes really obvious. Whenever Luffy is incapacitated, or he's lost, or he's stuck, or he can't do things normally, that's pretty much Oda's way of getting him to stop from fighting somebody that he could KO. So, which goes along with the ending of this chapter perfectly. Chopper even conveniently states that they're running low on medical supplies. And he does mention the reference to Impel Down, in that Luffy has developed some type of immunity to poison, right? Because of fighting Magellan and what the Ivankov treatment did to him. But either way, it's still kind of well, he got poison. And poison is kind of I think Oda was just racking his brains shit, there's just so many things I could stop Luffy with. I guess I'll just, make up a fish that they can cook, and that'll poison him, and he won't be at full. And if Luffy is not at full, you can guarantee that's because there's an enemy coming up that that Oda doesn't want him to defeat just yet. In this case, I would probably assume that it's that Germa 66 guy with the eyebrow. It's totally one of Sanji's siblings. At least that's what I think. I really like the design of the ship, even though we didn't get to see it clearly. It kind of looks like a snail with a castle on the back, like a tower. And I would also like to point out that despite Peckham's and everybody else being scared of Germa 66, they are not attacking the Sunny. They just called them out. They were just I'm assuming you guys are the Straw Hat Pirates. So they already knew they were coming. I guess due to Big Mom's intel or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting to note that they're not firing at the Sunny. So I'm guessing that pretty much means that there's going to be some type of negotiation. Maybe there'll be some type of an arrangement or something, before they open fire, if they open fire at all. That being said, the Straw Hats do usually separate in these arcs when they hit an island. So yeah, I think that's going to happen one way or the other. By the way, the scene that definitely made the chapter for me was when Chopper was going through Sanji's stuff in order to find more information about the fish. And he's like, I can't find anything in this dump. It's filled with porno. I can just imagine Sanji's magazines being stuck together, the pages just stuck together, and Chopper being Realistically speaking, though, if you're a young guy, that's pretty much what your parents would find if they decided to go through your internet history, honestly. But no, and then Chopper, he falls in love with the cotton candy rain, the snow. Cotton candy rain, chocolate rain. Honestly, I thought this chapter was pretty bleh. It really was. I'm pretty sure there's some things that are going to have some pretty interesting implications in the future and stuff that is going to pay off in the future. But as of right now, it was fun. Like, it was fun. It wasn't a bad chapter, but, I guess compared to what Oda's been delivering thus far, this chapter kind of like, all right, I'll take it. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Comment down below with your thoughts. Remember, no chapter next week. Bye.